Hello, everybody. This is Rebecca, and this is Everyday Intuition. And we're going to be just doing a little check-in about everyday intuition. And then we're going to be talking about and experiencing claircognizance. So, how are you, meaning are you consciously, bringing these tools and techniques into your everyday life to have it be a more rich and fulfilling experience? Hello, Holly. So I just wanted to do a check-in. Is anybody consciously using some of this? Are you intending on expanding your intuition? What's been happening? Oh, good. Holly, you've been practicing. So what have you been practicing and what are the results? Feels more empowered to make decisions. Awesome. I'm using intuition with my day change, and it is not as planned. Oh, I'm using it when my day changed. Can't even read. Having an intuitive energy that something happened for a reason. All right, perfect. Listening to my intuition to direct my choices. Anybody doing it to have more fun? I'm serious. To just maybe have more fun in your life. Yay, Rachel, our resident comedian. Sometimes, because I think as humans, sometimes we get so bent on improving and doing and blah, blah, blah. Oh, good. Holly talked to the Pleiadians. Yay. All right. Awesome. It is very fun. I think we, increase the fun factor, right? Except when our homes are in danger of burning. Everything okay, Sandra? By the way, since, I just had, that very real experience. It's much different watching it on the news than when you're, packing up your house and your physical belongings to, run from a fire, so to speak. Yeah. Run the Healy for your lungs. I'm being serious, Sandra. Run the Healy for your lungs, just your lungs. Because I know that I had to for like a week, with that extra smoke and stuff. Okay. So what is your spirit guide telling you, Rachel Huntley? Okay, so all right, so he's clearing something. So I want to talk a little bit about then, so any questions about clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, any questions or insights? Or are you guys ready to jump into clairaudience? So he's clearing something. Okay. Oh, so you did that? So coming in the dreams? Okay, that's awesome, Rachel. Oh, big yawn. And you could also think about these things as, all right, so I want to jump into the claircognizance now. It's just clear knowing. Okay, so before I jump into claircognizance, take a step back and what do you think your dominant clair is? Each of you that's like live on the call. So what do you think? Is it the knowing, the seeing? And if you don't want to try to spell these things, is it knowing, feeling, seeing, hearing? Knowing, feeling, seeing, or hearing? Yeah. This one. So Um, Kelly's is the knowing for sure. Holly's is the knowing. Sandra's is the knowing. And Rachel's is the feeling. Okay, so when you have the claircognizance, couple things. It's sometimes it's the, in my opinion, of course, and from, this is my third intuition class that I've taught. This is the one that's easily looked over. It's also the easiest one to get confused with ego. Well, I know I'm supposed to do that. Okay, really? So can you feel into that? Those of you especially who have the clear, how do you discern if it's your inner knowing or your ego? How do you know? Oh man. All right, so I'm going to challenge you then that's I know, like when you're just like when you just know and you're not taking the time to feel it in your body. So any other besides if you feel light about it, okay? So feel partnering it with clairsentience, right? A lot of times, so here are some um usually it's a fight between my want of what it should be versus what I sense and know. Okay. Again, partnering it with, so Sandra, it feels like you really partner it with your clairsentience, right? So again, just getting to know yourselves better. A lot of times claircognizance is going to come out of nowhere. Okay, it's just going to come out of nowhere. Boom, there you go. It's flash. You just know what you know. And you just know what you know. And in that moment, you're really confident. And because you're so confident, you don't have to second guess it. Go with that, because what happens then is if you start the mind chatter, that's when the doubt can come in. And then that's when you've got to drop in and test it with the feeling. See that? A lot of times claircognizant is very spontaneous. It's out of the blue. You wake up, that a lot of people say, oh, it comes to me in the shower because you're distracted. It's a lot of times it can be a novel idea. It'll be out of the blue. It might be something that you feel uncomfortable with. Well, I've never done that before. Claircognizant, it is very important if you want to keep expanding this. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Rachel. Oh, now I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. But again, it's very partnered with just the knowing, with the mind, so that the mind can kick in and start questioning, start doubting. Oh, just out of the blue. Um, yeah, you just know, right? I predicted an earthquake. A lot of the claircognizance can then be precognition, right? The predictions. A lot of times, and the predictions can come anyhow. They can come with a vision. Sandra could look around and be seeing, all of a sudden all the plates falling, off of the shelves and a bookcase falling over and be like, oh my gosh, an earthquake. Or, boom, we're going to have an earthquake. It's just that knowing. Okay. And it's oftentimes it's very random. Okay. So just really A lot of times people will say, oh, my intuition was wrong. Okay. And so I don't trust it. Maybe, or maybe it was a mind program disguised as intuition because it's something you wanted really badly. So your mind's making it up. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Can somebody verify what I said makes sense? Because I'm not sure what I just said. Things are usually less clear if they're about you because there's an or family because there's an emotional attachment. And there's an emotional attachment. A lot of times too, ego can get in the way if you want to be right. All of a sudden I've got let me look at my notes here because I've just been kind of going by memory. Okay. Problems with being claircognizant is you can come across as a know-it-all. All right, if you're unaware. I'm going to say that again because I know I can have that problem. And my neighbor is she's so wicked intuitive, but she's a know-it-all. And I mean that with love. But claircognizance can be know-it-alls. And when you come across as a know-it-all, what are people going to do? They're going to get snarky. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to put up walls. They're going to put up barriers. They're going to tune you out. So being aware of being claircognizant, especially with friends and family, and again, in your everyday life, because this is going to come out in your everyday life, right? Now, if someone's paying you for a psychic reading, even then, all right, their mind can throw up stuff and they're going to avoid you. Yeah, they're not going to want to hear it. What is the solution? What's the solution to avoid coming across as a know-it-all? Anybody know what that is? It'll work. It'll work with your clients. It'll work with your boyfriend. It'll work with your kids. And how do you involve them? You ask. Ask my neighbor, she'll know. Oh, see, when Rachel gets put it exactly, you ask questions. Unless of course you blurt it out. And then it's too late, right? Because sometimes people just want to talk. And sometimes they don't want to have stuff thrown at them. And then you might have the answer, and then you can ask questions to soften it. And then it's like they discovered it themselves. Because honestly, a lot of times, though, especially when you're first developing your gifts, you want everyone to know you're psychic. And I say you, not like you, but generally, I remember I was like that. Hey, I'm pretty damn psychic, and I'm so friggin' excited about it. So it just depends on where you are in your path. But you really will. So, for example, let's say you just friggin' know that the guy your daughter's dating is a loser. um, um, So, coming at her and saying, hey, I see that he's a loser, blah, 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 she's probably going to throw up walls. So developing the art of questions and of getting people on the same page using your empathy. Okay. So bringing in those other skills. Okay. Conversation and stories are a great way. And you can do that to everybody, right? When they just want to talk, I kind of interrupt and tell them everything I think they should know, but they didn't ask. Yeah. Right. So it's being aware. My neighbor's like that. I was just wanting to talk about, something, and she just goes, well, blah, blah, blah. And everything she said was true, but inside I was eye rolling. I'm like, oh, I know that too, but I just want to talk. Not everyone is ready to hear what we want, what we know. That's true. That's a good way to put it. Again, unless I blurt stuff out all the time in sessions and I don't remember. And then people will say, oh, you told me that it was going to be blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I did. I don't remember. Okay. A lot of times you won't remember when it's claircognizance because it's quick. It's in the moment. You deliver it and boom. Okay. So again, being aware. So Kelly, is that a huge awareness there? I love that though. I just interrupt, tell them what I think they should know, even if they didn't ask. So take a deep breath. Also in life, it's kind of like, again, you have these wicked psychic gifts, and then do you really, it's kind of like where you are in your path and how aware you're being. And, sometimes, again, we want to let people know. I remember my first mentor, she just threw me under the bus, man, because I said something like, oh, I saw my friend's dog with a purple leash. And she goes, you're just bragging. You want people to know you're psychic. I was like, ow. Yeah. And can you give me some kudos? Sometimes I don't care if they want to hear it. So you're just going to, hey, Kelly, so you're just going to shove it at them, right? Oh, big yawn. For some of you, that might work. I worked with, I had a psychic. She was pretty good. She was like, she calls herself, we're all psychic, but she liked the label as a psychic. And in my healing classes, people got really upset with her because kind of like my style is back and forth self-discovery, getting them on board. How does that feel? Blah, blah, blah. That's my style. Hers was, it's this, this, and this. And she's very direct, very masculine. And it would put people off, and she didn't care. So, but when people are paying her to be a psychic, that's what they want. So again, if if you know your neighbor, if you know your neighbor's house is going to burn down, if you come over and you're like, hey, I just saw a vision that, your house is going to burn down, you need to get the hell out now. It just depends. You got to know your audience. Okay. That might be the best way, or they might look at you like, get out of here, crazy lady, before I get my shotgun. So it just depends, right? So does that kind of help? Another thing, claircognizants who are earlier on their path, they have a lot of doubt. Okay. Can you recognize it in others and accept it from others? Those of you who are very strong personalities, and if somebody kind of like gives you strong claircognitive messages, are you willing to accept it? Or do you kind of, and you don't have to answer, are you kind of like, hey, I got this all figured out and I don't need your help? So how do you receive it? I'm just asking to kind of, oh, Kelly, you're funny. I just read that and shamed them for not wanting to hear it. Losers. Don't want to hear my awesome information. Yeah, it's when I'm receptive. But then if you think about it, okay, so like, again, me working with my neighbor, it's funny because, when we first met her, it was that know-it-all, right? And she's kind of put offish. And if I had started working with her a couple years ago, I would just be too irritated to work with her. Seriously, I'm being honest. But now I'm able to just kind of smile and receive what she has to say and be okay with it. Whereas before I would have been like, oh my God, she's such a know-it-all pain in the ass. I just can't stand being with her. Okay. And so learning yourself and learning how you like to receive information, how you deliver information, if you don't like it being forceful, again, can you all of a sudden take a step back and be like, okay, I can modulate myself or not. Rachel, that's funny. Yeah, thanks for your input, but I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Versus, oh, thank you for that, right? It's received. So again, it's also about a journey for our own personal being a master, right? Okay. One of the biggest things about, or to me, a red flag, though, is when, how do I say this? Do you feel like, I don't know how to say this. Do you feel like everyone's on an individual journey, and truth can be different? Truth in quotation marks is different for different people. For example, I'll use the vaccine thing. Do you believe that maybe vaccines are good for some people and bad for others? Perception. So when we as receivers of this infinite divine intelligence, and we're sharing our messages, or we're out there and we're seeing other messages shared, just again, I guess what I'm trying to say is just, it does depend on your beliefs, right? But our beliefs create our reality. So do you think truth is different for different people? And sometimes a belief might be holding someone back, and you're getting this intuitive information to tell them, I know this is your reality, but maybe it would be in your best interest to try this because, whereas somebody else is like, yeah, it's not relevant for you. See what I'm saying? And as a receiver of this universal information, it's important for you to have as few judgments as possible, because I'm going to call them judgments, beliefs, right? I'll call them judgments, whatever you want to call them. Because can you see how your judgments might affect and skew the information you're receiving for yourself or for others. Am I making sense? Okay. Sandra says yes. Yes. Okay, yes. Not being attached to the info as it comes in, but also being aware, like I'm trying to think of a really good example. Well, the vaccine information, right? For example, this is the easiest example. Let's say I am an anti-vaxxer. I think vaccines are created by the devil. I'm just, being whatever. I'm working with a client and I keep getting, she needs to get the flu shot. She needs to get the flu shot. But my perception is vaccines are made of the devil, so I'm not going to pass that on to her. She gets the flu and dies. Okay. So not being attached to that information, and also not letting my personal beliefs, which could be true, which cannot be true, they might be true for me, I don't know, but I'm projecting them onto that other people or that other person, and I'm not going to give her what could be life-saving information. Okay, makes sense? And that's it. That's the easiest example I can think of. Because we come, like a lot of times, especially on social media, people come out as like, this is the truth for everybody, and it's not. And the more masterful we are of ourselves and this information and our intuition and the, and the less judgments we can have, the less rigidity we can have. I think again, the more we can receive, but also the happier life we can have. Am I making sense? And you may think, no, because it's not about me. See, that's the thing. When you question, why are you getting that, especially when I don't believe in it? Because it's not about me, Rachel. It's about, let's say it's about Jane. Okay. And I want to be the clearest conduit of information for Jane. And if Spirit is telling me Jane needs to get that vaccine, just because I believe that they're bad, it's not true for Jane. And you can take anything on this planet except for stuff like maybe bleach. There's some stuff that is universally harmful. I guess I get that. What I'm saying is you would know that the message for her, not you. Yeah, see, that's not hard for me. And I try not to have, for me, I try not to have any hard and fast judgments, but they come up all the time and I try to clear them as much as possible. Now, why didn't you want to give that information, Sandra? Did you feel it would be bad for them or hurt their feelings, or was it something that you didn't believe in? It went against what I knew about them, right? Or what you thought you knew about them. Yeah. Ooh, I'm getting a headache right in my third eye area. A little pinchy feeling. I don't know what it's about. So just taking a deep breath. And so what judgments do you hold about a person or a situation or something? What's a judgment where you think it's bad and you would just like to let it go? Let's clear some judgments, and then we're going to have a fun exercise. And it could be a judgment about yourself. So what's one judgment that you would like to eliminate? Oh, write down the first thing that, okay. That I know what is right or best. Okay. You're judging yourself, Holly, with being wrong and it might cause harm. Okay. So how about Rachel and Kelly? What's a judgment? Oh, oh wow, you guys are already clearing. It's so good. Okay, I know what's best for them. I'm not gifted enough to get accurate information, info on demand. Sometimes that doesn't happen though, the information on demand. So, just be aware of that. And how about, did I miss you, Rachel? What's a judgment you would like to get rid of? Oh, come on, girl. You're holding up the class. Rachel, if I was in a class right now, I would walk by with my ruler and tap you on the head. I would be like, Rachel. And then if I can't see, it's like, does she go away? Um, um, okay, so you too being a know-it-all, huh? Okay. All right, you guys, so feel where that judgment is in your body. I'm seeing it like a little hook. It's kind of interesting. And then wherever it is in your body, a judgment is always connected to the ego mind. I think. Maybe not always. I don't know. Um, but it usually is a projection of what you think you know, of the ego trying to be right or trying to be in control or trying to prove its worth, afraid of being wrong, guy having it all figured out, being uber smart, all that. So can you just whatever, imagine that it's like a string or a rope or a chain, and do whatever you need to do to just break that connection. The reason why your ego mind has that judgment might be safety. Again, it might be control, it might be approval. So what is it? Is it the ego's need for approval? Is it the ego's need for control? Or the ego's need for safety? What feels like the biggest all of the above? It's funny. Okay. So Kelly's like getting rid of all three of those chords. Control. Okay. Holly, it feels like safety for you. Oh man. But I could be wrong. That's why I do that a lot. I could be wrong. We're just going to delete all the wanting control, all the wanting approval, all the wanting safety. And we're just going to lift that judgment up and out of your field, completely gone, totally obliterated, as it never existed. And as that energy of, as that judgment, is that needing to be right, is that belief I'm not gifted enough, or I'm going to harm someone, or I don't need to listen to others, I got it all figured out. As that's lifted out, can you just feel your field just expanding? And any and all other judgments, perceptions, limiting beliefs about you and others and your psychic abilities and your claircognizance and your, can you just let them all go that you're ready and willing to let go of now? And let me know when you are finished letting go of that energy. Just put an F in the chat. And while that's happening, I am just going to activate your crown and your third eye. So you are more receptive to cognitive knowingness, delivered straight from infinite intelligence or an aspect of infinite intelligence. Okay, so Kelly's finished, Sandra's finished. And I'm feeling lots of sticky stuff in the throat. Okay, Rachel's clearing. I love how visceral your clearings are, Rachel, with the burping. And how's Holly doing? Are you finished? You're not finished. Okay, so just letting that, just letting it go. Whoosh, now we're going to integrate all your energetic shifts and changes. So a lot of inventors like Thomas Edison and other like scientists, philosophers, quote, again, inventors have that gift of claircognizance. That's funny, Holly. I could, yeah, because it's, for you, it does feel like safety. Oh, and there's like life and death associated with safety. Okay, so again, back to that idea of the inventors. Thomas Edison had his thinking chair, and he would just sit in his chair and wait for data to be downloaded about his inventions, right? You can connect with, so what we're going to do right now, and it's going to be fun. There's no right or wrong. You can use your claircognizance to connect with other people, okay, like deceased people or even alive people. For example, I was reading a book on psychic development, and this one guy, what he would do was he would never study for his tests, but he would connect psychically with his professor and get the answer from the professor and take the test. Okay. How cool is that? I think it's cool. Some others might think it's cheating. You might have a judgment that it's cheating. Right? So what I would like you to do is to, so yes, Andrew, you think it's cheating. If I was still in school, man, I would be playing with that all the time. Why do you have to study if you can access anything you need? Right? That's how I feel. Okay. So pick someone like a scientist, uh, 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 political figure, somebody that's well known that we know. Just pick a person. Einstein, check. Okay. So get your people that you're going to connect with. Everybody get their person written in the chat. Who do you want to connect with? I keep seeing Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana. Perfect. Maybe that's what I was seeing. I kept feeling, but I know I keep seeing Marilyn Monroe. Okay, but we have Princess Diana, Einstein. I think Princess Diana is still alive according to QAnon, though. Frida Kahlo. I don't know who that is, Rachel. What are they? What is that person famous for? Like, what's the? You know what I mean? What are they? An artist. Okay. Painter. Oh, Frida. Is it the um Harriet Tubman? Is yeah, like Latin. I'll just look her up later because I don't feel like tuning into my psychic abilities. Mexican. Okay, it is. I didn't know that was your last name. All right. So what do you want to? What's the general information you want to get from this person? So have an idea of what you want to glean from them. Like, do you have some questions you want to ask? Yes or no? Okay. Well, pick some questions. Pick some questions, Rachel Huntley. She popped into your head for a reason. Now, another thing is, ooh, that feels very deep, Kelly. Now, if this being, right, if this conscious being, if this quote deceased person was not ready, willing, and able to chat with you right now, they would not have popped into your consciousness. Okay? I'm going to say that again. They would have popped into your consciousness. And I think it's really interesting. This artist must want to communicate something through you, Miss Rachel, right? Sandra, staying calm in the face of chaos. How to embrace being unique. Ooh, that's beautiful. Okay, and good Lord, Holly. So you can master the matrix, right? I'm still a little jealous over this mastering the matrix thing. Very jealous. Like so jealous. So if you catch me trying to steal it, I'll always give you full credit. How can we manipulate energy to create what we do want on an accelerated scale? All right, you guys have your question. Don't be like too tied to your question because they might give you other information. Oh, thank you, Holly. I'll give you credit though if it pops out of my mouth. Okay, so are you guys ready? You kind of have your idea, you have the person. We're going to ask that the information be delivered via claircognizance, but you may reinforce it with some your feelings, like Sandra likes to, or you might see a vision of how to do it, like especially if you're talking with an artist, right? And what's the other one? Oh, you may hear something. I don't know. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready for some claircognizant chatting? So go ahead and a lot of you have already just begun the process. It's beautiful. You're all masters of this already. You're just remembering how to do it. So go ahead and make sure you're grounded, fully connected to the earth. Feel those chakras in the bottom of your feet open up and connect fully to earth. Now taking a big deep breath and fill your body with earth energy. And just focus on how that feels really quickly. Another deep breath, filling your body with earth energy. And know that you are a clear, concise channel of information from your chosen conscious being. Focus on your third eye and just your brow chakra, and just notice if there's any sensations. You might feel energy moving. You might feel a buzzing. You might hear a buzzing. And now just open your crown, which is already open. And your conscious being is now connected with you. And you might consider it downloading information. So receive the information. And this should happen quickly. And tell me when you're finished. And you can ask for more clarity. Like, what does just start mean? I need more, please. But Kelly, it feels like she was a doer, not much of a talker. Okay, and I don't want to talk too much. Holly, that's a freaking amazing. Kelly, how do you feel when you connect with her energy? Like, ask for the clairsentience. Like, how do you feel? Good. Okay. If there's anything else you want to glean, if not, of course I'm being the teacher, but thank them and you can break off the connection. Um, okay, what was that like for you? Well, let me just read Holly's. Holly, do you normally talk like this? Like seriously, I know, right? I was like, holy shit, Holly, that's so awesome. I just cussed. Sorry. So Holly's information from Einstein, once you realize and accept there are no timelines, then you open yourself to a point of receptivity to begin to focus intently on your point of creation without judgment and without attachment. Meaning, as you choose it on that frequency, then the physical manifestation then comes on that same frequency. Focus on keeping it activated and open. That's a friggin' amazing. I love it. And then I was like, ooh, so if you believe in the multiple timelines, and because a lot of healers and people are talking about different timelines, you activate the higher timeline, that kind of thing. So there might be some cognitive dissonance, but that's pretty friggin' exciting. I definitely take a snapshot of that. That was amazing. I love it. All right. Um, yeah. All right, so Kelly's again is like, yeah, it just felt like she was just pretty much like she feels like she has this huge heart and she's just a doer. She's not going to be one to be sitting around in a thinking chair getting um, inspiration and ideas for inventions, right? Let's see. Get the balance. All right. Stay connected to my heart, but don't wear it on my sleeve. Expanding my heart is the key. You can love others, but love yourself first. And doesn't that info? So how did the information feel from Princess Diana? It's made me dizzy. Yeah, yeah, just very and soft yet strong. Interesting. And she had to be a strong woman to deal with what she dealt with. Just being, in the public eye and with royalty is what I mean. And Rachel, self love and embrace your flaws. So, what flaws do you need to embrace, Rachel? And am I going to have to tap you with my ruler again? Right? All right. So, feel into it. How quickly did the information come, and was there a struggle? Well, Frida obviously does pretty quickly, right? Okay. So, Holly, it was quickly. I would be channeling Einstein like crazy, Miss Holly, especially with your kind of the direction that your business is opening up on. I was talking while she was talking. Yeah. How was it for you, Rachel? Oh my God, Channel Einstein. You know, here's an idea, Miss Holly. Um, Ask people like, hey, do you have a question of Einstein? I'll channel him for you. So you don't even have to think of the questions. Okay. And how was it for you, Miss Kelly? Fast? Oh, and you don't have to do it right there on the spot, Holly. You can have them type in the questions and then you can channel it and then post it. So yeah, you don't have to be on the Johnny on the spot. Yeah, good, Rachel. So how did you how did you discern? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kelly, so much. Have an awesome client session. So Rachel, how did you decide it was a channel? Like it was from Frida, not from you? Or did you? What's the first answer that came up? This is beautiful. So put your mind aside, right? Put your ego aside. Take a deep breath. Activate your solar plexus. First answer that pops in, was that information from Frida or was it from your own head? What's the first thing that pops in, Rach? There you go. Go with that. Let it be quick, especially when you're getting the hang of it and you're getting the practice of it. And don't give yourself time to to second guess or doubt. You guys, when you're taking multiple choice questions, in school, you know how usually not all the time, the first answer was right, and then you overthink it and you second guess it, and then you're like, another big sign of clear cognizance is the hindsight is 2020. It's like you have that right answer, but then it's that doubting, right? The worrying, the chewing over it, which is different than, oh, I think it's A, and then all of a sudden you get a flash. No, it's C. Yeah, it's C, and then you put C. Versus, I think it's A, or no, I'm sorry, it's A. And then you're like, no, but I think it could be D, or maybe it's B, and oh, but and then you see how that goes. Does that make sense? Exactly, right? Versus you're just going to tune into your professor and get all the right answers and get an A and you never studied. You can cheat. Talk yourself out of the right answer. Yep. Yep. So now you know that you're just letting your mind influence you and you don't need to do that anymore. Okay. Um, what was I going to say? Fear. Yeah, but aren't you getting better, Holly? Isn't it getting better? Aren't you like less good? It feels like you are. Was this fun for you guys? Did you like connecting with that um it was different? Okay. So you can, I know of another healer that whenever she does copywriting, she can, I don't know who she connects with, but she connects with one of the great copywriters of the past and then lets him write her sales pages. Excuse me. So I can't remember who she uses. Or do you want to know? It's Rebecca Marina. That's the healer, but I don't know I can't remember who she connects with. Um, and they don't even have to be deceased. You don't need to do any more training. Not really. But see, training helps you put this into practice. Claircognizance is about the knowing. But if you know, and another thing too, and I know you're joking, but you know, it's interesting because a lot of times too, a big thing about training and working with others is to have it be more fun and supportive and all of that. Because it would be a very, you know, but some of us are designed to just kind of like sit in a room and receive the information and put it out there.